What's up, family? Everybody, happy Friday. And welcome to the Rick Joyner Experience live streaming show from the Rick Joyner Experience studios. As you can see, the backdrop that let you know it's the Rick Joyner Experience studio. It's Friday, and I am so excited to be back for another edition of the live streaming show. And my special guests are standing by. But before I bring them on, I need everybody to do this for me now. I need you to go ahead and like and share this video right now on your timeline. If you want to start a watch party, that's great, because we're going to have a humdinger. I think I just told my age in that phrase. We're going to have a great show tonight with some great people as we talk about surviving COVID. And I know a lot of people are just sick and tired of COVID, and I understand that. I understand you're tired of dealing with it, but guess what? COVID ain't tired of dealing with us yet, and we are not out of the woods. So we're going to talk to a couple of people who actually had COVID. Both of them had it. They went through it, and now they are living on the other side of it. So don't forget, right now, go ahead and share this video right now. And make sure you follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel for a chance to win some prizes, okay? My first guest, she considers herself a Christian, a loving mother, a super fantastic sister, a loyal friend, and the queen of selfies. She's a true believer who always knows how to always treat others as you want to be treated. Love God first is what she says. Love yourself and keep him as the center, for he is my all in all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad to welcome to the show. I can't believe she's here. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Tina Clark. How you doing, Tina Clark?
I am super fantastic.
Super fantastic. And it's so crazy that we're here because you had COVID. I didn't even know it till you were just about done with it, because you just private like that. And I'm like, okay, great. All right. So let me introduce my next special guest. His early years of comedy found him in his first gig as a writer warm-up guy for Kim Whitley on her talk show, Old Drama. Now, being on the scene, he was able to parlay his skills into opportunities and began opening for the likes of George Lopez, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, just to name a few. The next 10 years, he spent nonstop in various television capacities. Hosting comedy shows like Who's Got Jokes helped him to fine-tune his craft and fuel the fire for the screen, large and small. Catching the attention of comedy lovers and industry shot callers alike, this guy got another big break with a starring role as Harold in Tyler Perry's Medea's Big Happy Family. And it's only been a meteoric ride on the fast track ever since. He's found himself a home at Bounce TV as host of his own comedy show. So what I want you to do right now is just take a look at this.
This way out there. Most people are good looking. Right? Would you agree? Like, most people are good-looking people. Look around the room. You hard-pressed to find somebody that really you don't mess with visually. Most people are good-looking, but this is the thing about good-looking people. If you see a good-looking, like this lady right here, I'm looking at her, I'm saying to myself, that's a good-looking woman. But guess what? I've seen your face like 50 times in my life. God duplicates good-looking people. Ma'am, I know I've seen 4 or 5 women look just like you. But an ugly person. Think about the ugliest person you've ever seen. Guess what? You ain't never seen them again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Rick Joyner Experience, Mr. Rodney Perry. What's up, man?
I forgot about that joke. I ain't told that one in a while.
But it's always true. It is always.
Ain't no duplicate ugly people.
That's why I'm glad we ain't got no ugly people on the show tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I might be borderline.
All right, listen, gang, I'm so glad that you guys accepted the invitation to come on to the show. And we're going to talk about your COVID experiences and what it was like for you and your family. And and now what it's like on the other side. Now, let me start off. First of all, it's 9/11. Today is September 11th, and we have to remember the tragedies 19 years ago in New York City and in the other locations where these planes caused so much death to so many Americans. I'm glad to be an American, an African American, and I remember where I was on 9/11. Do you remember?
Yes.
I was at your house, Tina. I was. Let me clarify that. I was dating Tina's sister. Okay. And I was there at her house when the plane started crashing.
It was early in the morning, though, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
And we're gonna leave that right there, Mr. Funny Man. Okay, I had spent the night and I was asleep and woke up to all of this stuff happening, man. So we remember all of
I thought it was a movie. I remember thinking it was a movie.
Yeah.
Because I woke up and I popped on the TV and I started seeing, all this stuff. And I was like, man, this is a crazy, realistic movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. And it was, and the crazy part, I had a gig that weekend and I still flew because, and the airports I remember the airports being barren. Like nobody traveled those weeks, those couple of days following.
Yeah. Well, they shut all air traffic off, period, for a while.
Not but only a couple of days.
Uh-huh.
But it was definitely down for a while.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But
well, I was working at the mall. I was doing a bank drop, Bank of America. I'll never forget it. And I just remember seeing it come across the television in the bank.
Yeah.
Working at Banana Republic.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember you at the Banana Republic. You gave me a gift, a robe that I fell in love with. I needed one of those robes.
Right.
So let's talk about, to look at the two of you now, right? One would never think that there was ever anything wrong with you. But that was certainly not the case for both of you having to deal with COVID. So first question, when did you become aware that you might have it, Tina? What was it that made you know that you just might have it?
3 days afterwards.
You said 3 days after.
It was 3 days. I knew something was wrong, but it was 3 days when I really started feeling my worst.
Uh-huh.
I believe I was in denial day 1 and 2 because it was just the itching of the throat and the coughing. That's how it started. But day 3, as I've heard, COVID has an incubation period.
Right.
Was when I really started feeling bad.
And when you say feeling bad, what were you feeling?
Lethargic, body aches like no other, headaches, real bad diarrhea. I know it's TMI, but that's a sign.
It's a real show, so we can say diarrhea and other stuff.
Just feeling like I had no energy, and I typically run 5 miles.
Right.
So the day that I ran 5 miles, I literally probably walked 4 of the 5 because I had no energy. And afterwards, it was like something is not right.
Now, speaking of you running 5 miles, this picture that's on the screen now is you post-COVID. And you did right at 6 miles that day, unless you was lying.
Well, Nike don't lie. Nike don't lie.
Okay, now, Rodney, your experience though was a little different. Tell us about it.
Well, what I've learned, and I'm sure Tina has learned as well, as you meet other people, there's a bevy of symptoms that you could have.
Right.
Where I had aches and pains, but I was predominantly chills and fever. But some people complain of losing their taste and smell.
Right.
Some people complain of losing their appetites. That never happened to me. So I felt like I had like a flu.
Right.
And chills, fever, and super duper diarrhea. I boo-booed out stuff I ate when I was a baby. I mean, I boo-booed one time, there was a G.I. Joe in the toilet. So
But at least you do inspect what's in the toilet afterwards. Which is a good thing.
I looked back.
Yeah.
At one time I saw a slinky down there.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. I used to play with a lot of toys, but but yeah, man, it was so the crazy part, I don't know, like you feel real bad and then you don't feel bad.
Exactly.
But it's still there.
Mm.
And so were you hospitalized, Tina?
I did not have to go to the hospital, and I literally worked every day because I worked from home.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm a vet. So when I went to the VA and tested positive, they checked me in that day.
Mm.
And I couldn't leave. They wouldn't let me leave for 14 days. And on the 14th day, I had to insist that I was going home, whether they liked it or not.
Mm. Now, did they test you again on that 14th day?
No, they said because of the length of time, they didn't have to test me again, but that, I was still to self-quarantine at home.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So let me ask you this. What was that like for you, Tina, at home, working from home, and you've got a beautiful daughter named Kaylee, and Kaylee's there with you. Tell us about that part of the story. I mean, what was it like living in the house? You tested positive. Kaylee tested negative. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. Kaylee tested negative, and of course, one of your concerns had to be not getting her sick, right?
Exactly. Precisely. The day that I found out, I had actually had a test prior to the day I got both positives. It was the full week. It was a Sunday. Well, I got tested that Tuesday. Those tests didn't come back till I got tested that Friday. The same day Kaylee was tested. Kaylee's test came back negative. She says, "Mommy, I know you're not sick. I know you don't have it." So got the test back. It was positive. And then the test I had taken 3 days prior, got that test back positive. So I went into a state of like, this is really real. I have to stay away from my daughter. It was devastating because my first thought was she's going to get it because she's here with me. Mm-hmm. So I had to immediately quarantine myself in my bedroom, which thank God has a bathroom. And I was away from her.
Especially with all that diarrhea,
yeah. It was not good.
So
it was
you get up, you're on the way back. You'd be like, oh. All right, that's it.
So it was almost like she went into mommy mode and I was the child.
And how old is Kaylee now?
She's 11.
She's 11 years old, and she goes into mommy mode.
She goes into mommy mode.
And one of the issues with the diarrhea is it dehydrates you. So,
right.
And that complicates the COVID problem. So it's all crazy, a vicious circle.
Yeah.
Right after you left the hospital and after 14 days of being in the hospital and you went home, and I'm not sure if there's other people there in the house, but tell me what life was like in quarantine at the house.
Well, just in general, life with COVID is very isolating because if you're responsible, you're going to self-quarantine. Mm-hmm. So when I felt like I was sick, I immediately self-quarantined before I even went to the doctor.
Right.
And then coming home, you don't know, you just don't have a sense of how contagious you are. So you don't know. And right. So I'm actually still self-quarantined, even now, and it's been close to 20 some days for me. And it's just a really crazy thing, man. So I come back 14 days later, come back home, but I'm not out of the woods.
Right.
And I don't know if Tina went through this, but my lungs were compromised. And so like just walking across the room was difficult for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I would be winded like I ran 10 miles. And so but each day I got a little stronger. And my friend who's a herbalist, he put together a concoction of stuff that helped me get the mucus out of my lungs.
Oh.
And that helped me like tremendously. And you know, the first day I took that, I got up so much mucus, man. I was walking and moving around the house, you know, a day later.
Oh wow. We need to know what was in that concoction, sir.
I don't know, a bunch of stuff. At that point, I was just trying to breathe.
Right.
So I this is a blood oxygen meter. Did you have to monitor your blood oxygen level?
I did not.
So
I think it was all the running that kind of helped me.
So you're probably more healthy than me. but so while I was in a hospital, one of the things they monitored for me was my blood oxygen. So how for anybody that don't know how it works, like as a healthy human being, you're walking around breathing oxygen, you're healthy at probably 96 to 100%, right? Just a normal healthy person. With COVID, that number drops. So you might live at 90, and it alarms everybody in the hospital if you go below 90, 89, 88. So one day I went below, like I went like 88. I didn't feel bad, but when them nurses and stuff start running around and panicking, that scare you.
Even though you don't even feel bad.
Man, I'm like, what's going on? They're like, you ain't 88, you gotta, and so I had the nasal cannula, you know, and I actually even came home with oxygen, but I haven't needed it in the last like 3 weeks.
Wow.
So in your opinion, Rodney, what was the worst part of that whole experience for you?
The isolation, being by yourself. I mean, I was in a hospital, but I was literally outside of them bringing me food and taking my vitals. I was with nobody for 14 days. And then I came home and my family had to stay away. So it was really, you know, for a person that's a people person and enjoys being out and social, that was the hardest part.
And the hardest part for you, Tina?
Wow. I remember getting emotional, and it was only because of my daughter. You never want your child to feel like they're the parent. I just remember breaking down, and I was telling them, just allow me to work because I'm quarantined. I'm away from her. This is the only way that I can maintain my mental stability. But to see her break down one day in the hallway, she said, "Mommy, I just want to hug you." And I couldn't hug her.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do anything. I just didn't want her to get close. And I kept telling her, we'll make it through.
Yeah.
She just had to turn into Mommy Kaylee for a few days, and her dad came in to help. But she was pitiful as a child.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that being the worst part for you. So let me ask you this. Did they do any contact tracing on either one of you? Because we heard about contact tracing, you know, when this thing started blowing up, they were talking about contact tracing and they wanted to hire all these contact tracers. Did any contact tracing happen with either of you?
Not me. No. They didn't ask. I did my own personal contact tracing. Trying to figure out who was the outbreak monkey, you know. But I don't. I mean, to be honest, you always know when you think you got it, but it could be happenstance. It could be the grocery cart at Kroger. It could be, you know, you touch your face. It could be any number of things, and so I'm definitely post-COVID more of a proponent for masks, you know, gloves and things of that nature.
Very good. Now, Tina, I remember you telling me that you knew you got it from the hair salon. Is that right?
Because I wear my mask all the time. This particular morning, I was being careless. 8:30 in the morning, no one's in the hair salon. So I jumped out the car and I was like, ooh, I don't have my mask. And I didn't get it. But the next day, because I have my mask on everywhere. The next day, I got that tingling in my throat and I thought it was upper respiratory.
Wow.
Second day, it was the same thing. And I know that's where I got it from. But it could have been because I went to the restroom or I walked the hallways. You just never know.
So let me ask you, is there anything that you feel you could have done differently that might have prevented you from getting it, Rodney?
I mean, stay in the house, You know, I had my mask that day, but when I began to interact with people, I would take it off. I mean, I'm smoking a cigar. I mean, any number of things are risk factors. I was, of course, I was smoking. Smoking is not good because that kind of weakens you once the COVID gets you.
Have you given up the cigars?
I am, yes.
Very good.
I am, but I mean, is there anything I could have done? I mean, I don't know because I really don't know when or where I got it. So, again, you can speculate, but if you don't know, you just don't know. You shouldn't accuse people of that,
Right.
And what I'm finding is a lot of people have it and don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
You see that picture right there, man? Can you tell me about that? When I saw this picture, I'm like, okay, I got to make this part of the show. Where in the world did you get a coronavirus veteran baseball hat?
My daughter is in the Navy, and I'm here, watching TV one day, and it's like, you got a package, and she sent me that hat, and so I had to put it up on the ground. But yeah, it was a great, funny, thoughtful gift, and I wear it with pride. I don't know where it is right now, but it's around here somewhere.
Well, it's obvious that comedy runs in the family. Okay.
Oh, they all silly. They all silly.
And speaking of they all silly, let me. I got to showcase. You got 6 of them, bruh.
That is all of them. Number 1 is all the way in the back. So 1, 2, and 3 are in the back, and 4, 5, and 6 in the front.
Wow.
In order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming this way.
Yeah. Well, beautiful family, man, and we're just happy that both of you were able to get through this. And speaking of us being such social creatures, you kind of touched on that a little bit.
Well, before you answer, let me ask Tina, did you have, as you recovered, what was your hurdles recovering? Like, cause I literally, my lungs was like, I couldn't just walk freely. Did you have any of that as you recovered?
God is amazing because I had nothing. The only thing I did to recover, like you said, your friend made you the concoction. Kaylee has some cough medicine that she would take whenever she gets allergies. I drank that cough medicine to calm the cough because whatever it's in it, it definitely soothed my throat and it stopped the cough. That's the worst part of COVID that I had, besides the body aches and the headaches. But once I drank that, the cough it's called Bromafil or something. I drank that. That was it. I worked every day, and I really believe it's because I try to eat healthy and I run and take care of myself. So all the side effects you had, Rodney, I had none of it.
Wow, interesting.
Never went to the doctor, but when I was tested, instead of 2 weeks of recuperating, it was more so 3 weeks. So when I was tested to make sure it was gone, I got a positive. Then I went the next day to get retested. They didn't send me the results. I was like, uh-oh. So I called them. They sent it, and they told me I was negative. I was negative. I got 2 negatives.
Right. So I hope people are really paying attention to what's happening here, because what I see happening is this plethora of potential symptoms that you may or may not have.
It manifests itself a lot of different ways, and I tell you what else is different. The tests are different. So there's different tests. So there's a test that yields results in like 7 days, and then 7 to 10 days. And there's another test that takes like 3 days to give you a result. Then there's another test they can give you, and they can tell you what it is in like 7 minutes. So there's some like Kaiser people are selling that.
Yeah, but I think the efficiency and accuracy of the results have to come into question. I've got a friend in Little Rock, Arkansas. She started to feel some kind of way, you know what I'm saying? And she felt that she had it. She went and got tested. Her test came back negative, but in the small print, they said just because your test came back negative doesn't mean that you don't have it. And
Right.
I'm like, that's just so bizarre.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can, you
I
can have
talked
a
to one of
false
the
negative
doctors.
and you can have a false negative or a false positive.
That is a fact.
That's why I got tested twice after my quarantine, just to make sure, because I have an 11-year-old here, and I wanted to make sure I was protecting her at all times.
Right.
Let me ask both of you this: do you feel comfortable going back out in public now?
Tina.
I've been a couple of places, but not. I don't like to be around. I've never liked to be around big crowds, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been in a few places. I've finally met my colleagues out, and we had like a dinner out at the beach, and we walked the beach. But as far as just going somewhere, hanging out, no, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I haven't been outside of the grocery store. I just kind of started moving around recently. I can't say it doesn't affect your psyche in terms of being a little paranoid. The mask for me, and I don't know about y'all, but the mask gives me a bit of anxiety itself. Just having the mask kind of pressing down on my face, it builds up some anxiety, and medically that's kind of a condition as well, because ultimately you kind of deprive yourself of oxygen, and COVID is doing the same thing, so it's kind of weird. Yeah. But I guess to answer your question, I haven't been out like socially yet. You know, I work next week, so I probably won't actually go anywhere until then.
Okay, where you gonna be next week, man?
Greensboro, North Carolina.
Greensboro, North Carolina. Y'all get ready, cause he gonna break your side.
I am.
he's a real funny guy.
I'm gonna sneeze all in your face. Achoo.
So, what advice would you give to other people? Because understand, all of these issues are real. First of all, the symptoms are real. The pain is real. The mental anxiety of becoming antisocial, especially for a guy like Rodney Perry, who makes his life around people. I'm a very social creature, and then being forced to not do that. What advice would you give to other people in regard to protecting themselves against COVID?
I mean, it's real easy, man. Just, keep your hands clean, constantly wash your hands, and wear the mask. I mean, not only for yourself, but for the people around you. And I think where there was a lot of pushback is not as much pushback now, because people are starting to understand that this COVID thing is okay. Wow, I'm sick.
Yeah. We've got some comments coming in from Facebook. Ebony Ray, who is actually the producer of the show, she wasn't able to get here to the studio. She says, "Hey, y'all say hello to Ebony."
Hey,
what's up, man?
Oh Lord,
there's Lisa.
Hey, that's her sister. That's Alicia is
my sisters.
Tina's sister, and that's her other sister. And
that's your sister.
Yeah. That's her blood.
Both my sisters.
Those blood sisters.
Same mama, same daddy.
Same mama, same daddy. 7 of them.
Y'all serious about that sister?
And you want to hear something really funny, Rodney? The one in the red hair is her sister Alicia. The one on the left is my ex-wife, her sister, and that's
so. What they think about her still talking to you?
Rodney, you gotta understand
something. If I break up with my wife, I'm gonna be mad. My brother still talking to her.
Listen, all of them talk to me. We are cool.
Wow, that's
awesome.
What
I'm saying?
And you was either really horrible or awesome guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you can't be a horrible guy and everybody still like you. You know, right. It just don't happen.
Sometimes you can be so horrible they scared of you though. So they still
But yeah, it would be real easy for them to cut me off if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But we are all connected at the hip, and that's her on her wedding day a couple of weeks ago. She's married again, and I'm so happy for her and her new husband, man. I
bet you are. Did you have to play? Did you have to play some alimony? So I'm so happy for you, girl. Get out my pocket.
So Ebony is asking a question, Deirdre.
Yeah, she wants to know if your test was a nasal swab, and if so, was it painful?
It is not painful, but it's very uncomfortable. And yes, I did have a nasal swab. Did you have the nasal swab also?
I had the nasal swab both times, and it's a little uncomfortable, but I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of weird because you used to stuff going to your nose and being about right here.
Yeah.
And they go like
it just
up
goes
here.
back. And it's a little tingly. It's a
Yeah,
little tingling feeling.
it's a little weird. And then you got a little sneeze maybe afterwards.
Yeah.
And
let me remind everybody that's watching, please go ahead and like and share this video on your timeline. Start a watch party right now. Make sure you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get notifications whenever a new show goes up. You can also go back, of course, and watch some of the previous shows. We did a show on dating in 2020. Rodney, you should have been on that one for real, bro.
I don't need to be on no dating show. You trying to bring my empire down. No, but you counsel people. You know people ask your advice when
right.
We've been married 24 years, so people ask the advice, and I'm sure y'all had some arousing conversation.
Oh boy, yeah. And on the screen right now at Falcon Fan 10, that is Tina's Instagram. So please go and follow her on Instagram because she is hilarious. Kojak Black said, "You can't give up the cigars, Perry." Well, if he want to live, I bet he can.
I mean, I was already doing, smoking sparingly. I may smoke once or twice a year now, if that.
Okay. Very good. All right.
I bought a Peloton bike, so I'm riding my bike every day now.
That's good.
Very good.
So, Rick, I just wanted to say, as far as trying to prevent COVID from happening, I think for me, I was really in denial, and I just didn't think it could happen to me. That's the first mistake, because when the pandemic first hit back in March, I was like, I'm not wearing a mask. I don't want to mess up my lipstick. I'm not.
And you're just being honest.
I'm being honest to God. For probably a month before it really started getting bad, I was like, okay, I do need to wear a mask. Because we were literally going, I did not have a mask. But the thing about when it hit me, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I just got upper respiratory. Oh, it's not going to happen to me. I'm safe. I don't go out. And the only way you can really prevent COVID from happening, because there is nothing to cure it, is that you wear your mask. Wherever you go, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect others. You have to protect your family, no matter where you go.
You see what Vera Drew says. She says, just wear your mask and social distance. And I'm telling you, folks, when this thing first hit, I started getting all kind of masks. I got a whole mask closet now. Just about. I got the clear face shields that I can, that covers the whole face. I got all kinds of stuff because I just want to, I want to be careful. And if I am asymptomatic, the last thing I want to do is give it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Oh, look, Alicia. Look what Lisa said.
What'd she say?
She said, always and forever, baby. Ain't nothing ever gonna change that. I know that's. I love you, Lisa. And Ebony said, oh, seriously, we need him for the next relationship show. She talking about you, bro. If you've been married 24 years, you know something that a lot of people need to know. Some people can't stay together 24 months.
Hey, and we on a banana peel right now.
I can't seem to keep one for 2 years. So I'm,
2 years is a good little run, though.
I need about 20. This is my saying. I want somebody who ain't got nobody that needs somebody who wants somebody.
That sounds like a song. I like that.
Because everybody I meet got somebody, but still want somebody.
Hey.
All right. I got another serious question now. So, do you think that you can get COVID again?
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, the doctors will tell you that you can definitely get it again, but they're definitely, they came out talking about the antibodies, and those of us that have it do have a certain amount of immunity. But what's happening is the COVID is changing. So COVID changes. So you can be immune to what you had, but there's other, like other little versions of it that you can catch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I think you see so many different symptoms, because it's like a couple of different versions of it out there. So you can have the chills and feels diarrhea version, or you can have that version she had, or you can have I don't have no taste, no smell, but 6 weeks version.
You can have a remix version.
And it dude. and y'all out there, they know this, that COVID go through all them sex juices.
Say what now?
COVID living all the sex juices.
What do you mean it go through and what like
COVID living all other sexual, all that kissing, saliva,
intercourse,
all that.
You can pass it along to someone.
Indeed.
That's why I ain't been worried about nobody. I'm like, no. You thought AIDS did something to this world when it came? Shoot, I'm like, man, please. I'm
and the crazy part is AIDS was much worse than COVID, but because it was so aggressive and what it did to people. But this is less deadly, but more problematic because it kind of just lingers. It's just like a bad decision. It's just still there.
Sound like in relationship choices, huh?
Just stay there.
Well, listen, again, I want to thank y'all for coming on, man, and spending some time with us to talk about and tell your story. Now, Tina, for those of you that don't know Tina is in education. Tell the people a little bit, Tina, about what you do.
All right, thank you. I work for a nonprofit organization called Year Up, YEARUP. I am on the front line trying to inspire every young adult ages 18 to 24 to think beyond mediocrity, to think beyond what they don't think they can do. So I recruit students here in Jacksonville, throughout the community, through local churches, trying to help them understand that life is more than what is just working at McDonald's or working wherever for minimum wage. We help young adults. We put them on internship. We train them for 6 months and put them on internship with a Fortune 500 company, where students at the age of 18, 19, 20 years of age come out making $55,000 just for committing themselves for 1 year to turn their lives around. The program changes the whole trajectory of their lives if they commit to the process.
Wow.
Now what if they're good kids? I want to turn my kids' life around so they can get out of my pocket.
Shoot, I want to turn.
We have good kids. Opportunity Youth. It's amazing. Just look us up. Year Up.
That's very dope, Tina.
Yeah, but I'm turn my life around. If you got an opening for me, I got a year that I can put
you can use that 50G.
50G, yes, sir.
Well, we did raise the age to 26. Oh.
Okay.
Now, here's a good question, Mr. Rick.
Uh-oh.
I know Tina had the COVID, Rodney Perry had the COVID, but how you catch that shirt?
Oh, you know what, man? I am so glad you mentioned that, because I intended to tell everybody my son, DJ, bought this shirt for me on his own.
Oh, wow.
Look, it wasn't Father's Day. It wasn't Christmas. It wasn't my birthday. This was just a couple of weeks ago. So he sends me this text message.
Way to go, DJ.
Look, he messed me up.
That's my nephew.
Now, let me ask you this. Are y'all the same size?
No, not yet. He's on his way, though.
Okay, because I was about to say maybe he bought it for himself.
Yeah.
So like, I don't like this shirt.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Now, his shoe size is about to catch up with me. I wear a 13. He's at a 12 now, I believe. Wow. So he texts me and he sends a picture of this material, right? And he asks me in the text, he says, "Do you like this?" So I looked, he didn't have it hanging on a hanger or nothing, you know what I'm saying? He just kind of wadded up when he took the picture, and I'm like, it looks nice. The print looks nice, but I can't really tell what it is. And he replied back and said, "It's a shirt and it's yours." He got his first job at Kroger a little while ago. Now he's doing some warehouse work. He's in college now. And, because we've been separated, because of the divorce and stuff, we hadn't been really close, you know what I'm saying? And, you start to wonder, I wonder if my boy, really, still got me in mind, you know what I'm saying? And man, when he told, I said, really? I'm like,
you cried, didn't you?
Don't make me cry. I said, don't make me cry, son. Don't make
You about to make me cry just hearing the story, bro. I know you went there.
Bro, I mean, to get that confirmation that that I am still on his mind, even when we don't see each other every day like we used to, and we don't talk as much as we used to, man. It blew my mind. And I was like, I'm wearing that shirt on the show tonight. It's fly too.
It's nice.
Yeah. You like this, Rodney? You think you can rock this?
I know I would. I would put a sweat over it or something, though. Just to break it up.
Blinker Dance said, Mr. Joyner, Rodney, the man. I told you, Rick, about them shirts. DJ knows his day. Yes, he does. Yes, and my son's a great kid. At least he said, my nephew. Yeah, he really is a great kid. Well, look, we thank you again, folks, so much. Everybody that's watching, please make sure you share this on your timeline. Start a watch party right now. There's information that's in this show from these two survivors of COVID that's going to help somebody else that may be going through, somebody that may be going through. Point the other way, Tina. He's on the other side. Point the other. Yeah, right. Oh man, thank y'all so much for coming onto the show and sharing your story. We love y'all. We appreciate you, and we know that there's nothing but great life ahead for you. Now, Rodney Perry, you going to South Carolina?
Greensboro, South Carolina. Yes.
North Carolina.
Greensboro, North Carolina. I love them Carolinas either way. So you be safe, man, and stay away from folk, backstage.
I'm gonna do my best.
Tina, we love you, baby. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick Joyner.
Look, folks, make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay, it's Rick Joyner 1, Rick Joyner and the number 1. Okay, on the YouTube channel, and that way you can get the notifications anytime that I post a new show up. Okay, we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube right now, and I'm just grateful for the platform. Now, next week, my guests have stories that are going to encourage you. Imagine going from being a dope dealer to being an entrepreneur with great success, writing books and being a life coach and those kinds of things. My guests next week are going to talk about all of that. Look, folks, I have had a great time. Thank you all for watching, and make sure you share this with your friends. Share it on your timeline, and we'll see you normally on Thursday. So we may be back. We'll be back next Thursday for another edition of the Rick Joyner Experience.